Wrestling, mountains, fucking your sheep. What do these things remind you of? To me, it reminds me of Islam Makhachev and his upcoming fight against JDM. If you can't tell by my voice, I'm Indian, and in India we love Australia and we hate Islam. So for that fight, I'm obviously picking JDM. I've been seeing people on Instagram and Twitter talk about how Islam will submit submit him. I don't think that will happen because when Islam's opponent have a full camp and are not hurt, he has trouble submitting him. He subbed Charles because he was halfway unconscious. He couldn't submit Volk in a fully locked in body triangle twice. He had Poirier in mount twice, back side control once, and the body triangle twice, and he couldn't submit him then. The only reason he did submit Dustin is because Dustin blew out his own knee in the fourth round and couldn't scramble in the fifth round against that weird single leg takedown that Islam did. I, so Islam by submission is a bad guess. Now, do I think Islam will be able to pin Jack for 2-3 rounds to win to win the fight by points? I don't think so, because whenever Islam took Volk down, he got back up. There were only two cases where Volk couldn't get back up. That was when he locked in a body triangle. But I think Jack has great scrambling ability, which will allow him to use that reverse butterfly hook sweep more effectively than Volk did and give Islam a lot of trouble. And he did a lot of work with Volkanovski for this fight. And I think Volk will mention the mistakes he made in the first and fourth round that was giving Islam's hooks to allow him to get to a body triangle. And Volkanovski did great in that fight in the striking when he was very undersized, in the wrestling where he was very undersized. The only time Islam had any advantage was when Volk was in a body triangle and he couldn't get back to his feet. And when he got rematched against Islam, his grappling coach Craig Jones said, "We obviously know that Islam can't sub Volk, so now we will focus on escaping the body triangle." I think for this JDM camp, Craig Jones is also helping him, and he will use this new modern game plan rather than just sub, rather than just having good submission defense. Also, I saw a video on how JDM preemptively stops his opponent's legs from hooking him, and I think that will completely nullify the body triangle. So that is why I think Jack will not face any issues because he will be 6 pounds heavier than Islam, and he will have the perfect skills and game plan to counter any grappling threat from Islam. And the striking, I don't think Islam has any considerable advantage in the striking. The only place where I think he has any sort of edge is the speed of his body kicks and deeps, and obviously his defense. He's one of the best defensive strikers in MMA. In striking, Islam has a few patterns that I see JDM exploiting. So, for example, Islam uses a lot of movement when people feint him. When even for the smallest feint from Dustin, it looked like he jumped back 7 feet. So that is how he always stays safe. But as the fight goes on and his legs get tired through leg kicks or because of body triangle, so as the fight goes on, he gets tired. His movement is not as good as it was in previous rounds, and he gets hit a lot more. This was shown in the Dustin fight, in the Volkanovski fight, etc. Whenever Bilal tried to pressure Jack to close the distance and take him down, he kept getting he kept eating punches clean. Exactly how Islam ate jabs from Poirier whenever he tried to close the distance to push him against the cage and take him down. Jack has a faster, stronger, rangier jab than Dustin, and Islam doesn't have the durability of Bilal he does not want to be constantly jabbed by someone like JDM. Next weakness is to body shot. Straight body shots at range and liver shots in the clinch is are is a major weakness for Islam. I- uh, Obviously, I know in the clinch, Dustin couldn't hurt him with body shots. That was because he doesn't have the best technique. He was just slapping punches across Islam's torso, but JDM actually digs in hooks to the liver, like he did against Danny Roberts and Ramazan Emiev. He dropped them both with a body shot. So that is how I think JDM could use his superior boxing and using that head striking against Islam and give him some troubles with the body strikes. He also has great teeps, which Islam doesn't really defend against. Against Charles, he was getting teeped once or twice, and I think even against Arman, Islam doesn't have any decent uh, body kick blocking game. Next up is the leg kicks. Islam has checked three leg kicks in his entire career. I have watched every single one of his professional UFC fights, and I have counted each, and he has checked three leg kicks in his entire career, and he is 8/50. Jack is great at mixing his kicks with the punches and the body shots. Whenever Dustin threw a punch, Islam ran straight back with his head pulled further behind his own legs, leaving his legs open for kicks. I've seen Islam's entire title reign over 8 times, and if Dustin threw kicks and body shots and body jabs at the end of his boxing combinations to the head, he would have been twice as successful, and it would have been a completely different fight. Islam ducks a lot too. Against JDM, who has great knees and uppercuts, it could be a problem. I think Jack's striking defense will be a lot better in this fight because his coach said that in the last fight he was not happy with it. In the last fight, he used a new technique. Whenever he got pressured against the cage, he dropped his high guard completely and relied on head movement. That allowed him to getting punched more than usual. So I think he will use that similar game. He will use a similar game plan, but his head movement will be a little bit more polished, and he will get hit a lot less using that specific technique. Also, Islam has fought against three southpaws. One was Adriano Martinez, who knocked him out. Other one gave him a brutal cut and looked like he was in a car accident. That was Justin Poirier. And the other one was Drew Dober, the outlier. Every time Volk hurt him, like, or knocked him down, or shaked him up, it was from the southpaw stance. He kept switching his stance from orthodox to southpaw, and that is when he hurt Islam in the fifth round, and I think in the second round too. Whenever he doesn't have an orthodox southpaw matchup, his kicking game is out of the window. He threw one kick against Justin Poirier. He never throws a body kick or a head kick or a leg kick when his opponent has the same stance because of that open structure. You know what I'm talking about, right? Now, I believe physically, Islam is fucked. He is fucked. Jack will weigh around 189 pounds and above in at fight night, and Islam is said he's planning to weigh at around 183. That is less. I think that's equal to what Moicano weighed at UFC 311. So he is weighing in at what a lightweight weighs in at, right? So he will not be a lot bigger. He will not have a strength advantage. Volkanovski said he is not strong at all. Dustin said he's not strong, but he has a good squeeze, which of course he does. Look at his arms too. Also, even though Islam is probably juicing in the mountains for like 5 6 months, he has never fought at 170. He got exhausted in the Volk fight and in the Dustin fight, and in his first 5 round fight against Bilal, in the last round, JDM was taken down twice and was controlled for around 3 minutes. He got back up twice and landed over 50 strikes on Bilal. That is insane. In I think 2 minutes he landed 50 plus strikes in the fifth round he ever went into. That is insane cardio. Now Jack has literally every single tool to make Islam look easy, and I have it on very good authority that everything I've mentioned today is part of his game plan. I have messaged his coach Ryan Gray on Instagram. I was actually annoying him because I'm bored in my house. So I messaged him a bunch of mistakes Islam makes, and he said that is the part that is pretty much part of our game plan, and don't worry, we'll get him for you. Islam, this is one of the most interesting fights I've ever seen. I'm very excited. Good night.